New revelations tonight surrounding New Bern High School. The former principal, Jerry Simmons, reaching out to us, sending new documents with wide-reaching implications. But before we get into those new documents, here's a breakdown of everything we know so far. New Bern High School's football team was stripped of their championship win from last year. The Athletic Association citing ineligible players as the reason. The team also forfeited their first 5 wins of the season. Questions circulating for months over what led to this decision. News Channel 12's Tyler Howden is in the studio with Rebecca McGann, who's breaking down the new documents.
After months of silence, former New Bern High School principal Jerry Simmons is giving us a clearer picture of the circumstances. He was the school's top leader since 2013 before retiring this past June. And Rebecca, you spent all afternoon digging through those documents and his lengthy statement. What does it reveal?
Yeah, Tyler, this is Jerry Simmons' side of the story. He included a full statement, his timeline of incidents between him and district administration, as well as a summary of the administration's investigation against him. He says he stands behind every decision he made. In the statement sent to us by Simmons, he says he is speaking out not to redeem his professional image, but to, quote, avoid speculation and stick to the facts. He says that he did change grades during his time as principal, quoting from the statement, in some instances, I found that there were teachers with 60 to 70% of their students failing. In those cases, I would adjust the grades of students in those sections and ask the assistant principals to work with these teachers to ensure we are attempting different strategies to help more students find success. In the investigation report supplied by Simmons on Craven County Schools letterhead, he is accused of changing students' grades dramatically, in one case changing a 47 to a 72. According to Superintendent Wendy Miller, Simmons is not legally allowed to change student grades under North Carolina General Statute 115C-288, which outlines the powers and duties of a principal.
It said the principal has authority to grade and classify. And in that paragraph, it says to grade and classify, they can consider end of grade scores, classroom grades. So it's clear that grade and classify does not mean classroom grades. It means placing a student in the proper grade. In no training that I've ever attended or we've ever provided have we told principals they can change grades on transcripts or classroom grades.
Simmons, on the other hand, says the statute does give him the authority to change classroom grades and that, quote, I do not know a school administrator, elementary, middle, or high school who does not use this power. So I have exercised this power in situations where circumstances called for it. However, the accusation that sports was ever one of the considerations is false. What adult accountability is there going to be?
And there's already been some, but personnel issues I can't elaborate on. And if there's any additional actions taken, it will be beyond the scope of the school district.
I asked if criminal charges would be filed, and Dr. Miller told me it would be up to the district attorney. And Simmons is calling the community to action. He's asking the community to contact the state legislators and request a thorough review of the decision from the Athletic Association to revoke the championship title, as well as contact the Craven County Board of Commissioners and ask that they review the practices of the school district's leadership and Board of Education. Finally, Simmons wants to continue the support of the NBHS community. Now, this is just scratching the surface of all of the information Simmons released to us today, and we'll be diving into it, and I'll also be sitting down with Simmons tomorrow. We've also submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to Craven County Schools for the full investigation reports and emails regarding athlete eligibility and grade changes. We'll be sure to update you both on air and online as we learn more.
Questions remain after tonight's Craven County Schools board meeting, despite parents calling for accountability and transparency. All of this comes in the wake of a grade-changing scandal that forced New Bern High School's football team to forfeit its state championship and a part of this year's season. News Channel 12's Rebecca McGann was at that meeting and joins us live with all the details. Rebecca.
Yeah, Tyler, well, not many of the community members participated in the public comment section of the meeting. Those who did primarily focused on the issues surrounding New Bern High School and how the administration is handling it.
And I don't want to put the blame here and there, but it's a two-way street.
Earlier today, we sent a list of questions to the Public Relations Department for the board to answer regarding policy and accountability for board members. I also asked for an interview with board chairman Brent Manning, but was denied, with the reason being they, quote, wanted to move forward.
Going forward, what? We are fluffing it. We give you and say just enough to pacify the natives for the moment.
Denise is a parent at New Bern and is an active member of the community, and she says the board has not handled the situation well.
We've had blame put on parents, we've had blame put on students, we've had blame put on coaches, athletic directors, principals, but you haven't heard any blame on central office. You haven't heard any blame put on board members.
When the board responded to public comment, Kelly Muse said they wanted to balance athletics and academics.
We're obligated to put academics at the top of that totem pole. I'm a huge supporter of all of it, but we have to get them here and they have to perform well in school.
That can only happen if you're transparent and you're accessible. That's all we're asking. Be accessible to us, the parents and the students, because we are who got you in these positions.
We're still waiting to hear from the board in regards to the answers to the questions I sent them earlier, but we're still digging into the details. In Craven County, Rebecca McGann, News Channel 12.
Tonight, we continue to follow a crisis in the classroom. The fallout in Craven County schools after questions about player eligibility led to the loss of their most recent state football title and forfeited games this season. The Board of Education met for a work session today. News Channel 12's Rebecca McGann was there to get answers.
I've been following the story of athlete ineligibility since the beginning and have asked multiple questions regarding possible changes to accountability for the sports programs. Superintendent Wendy Miller asked the board to approve a part-time position for a district-level athletics director who would provide oversight for all of the district sports programs. The director would ensure the eligibility of athletes and get all of the sports and policies on the same page. The board pushed back on a part-time role, with several members saying the problem is large enough to warrant a full-time position. They all agreed, though, that whoever fills the position must be brand new to the district and have no implicit bias.
This board needs to take the position and try and get to a place where we have monitoring that brings everybody together instead of tearing this county apart. And that's why it is imperative that we have, if we hire such a person, that person have no perceived or real bias in any way, shape, or form.
Another story we've been following closely is the redistricting process the board has been pursuing. This morning, they voted unanimously to stop looking at redistricting plans and instead focus on making their reassignment procedures stricter. Now back to player eligibility. I sat down with former principal Jerry Simmons late this afternoon to ask specific questions in the wake of his lengthy statement released yesterday. You'll hear his side of the story in his own words tonight at 6.